everyone, I have got a new book to show you today. The illustrator of the book, well, Inner Inking is the sort of brand that they go by, has sent me this copy for free to show you and to review. Gosh, my hands are wet, sorry, I've just got it wet. So this is it A4 size? Hang on. Let me just check. This is an A4 piece of paper. No, it's a little bit smaller, just very slightly. So it's a little bit smaller than A4 size, look. Now A4 size is almost like American letter size. This is a UK printed Amazon paper book. So if you bought one in US, the size may be slightly different. I'm not sure if they're identical sizing, but you get the idea of roughly the size. It's got a matte cover, which I rather like, just because it doesn't reflect the light when I'm doing a video. So obviously mandalas, as you can see, and on the back it just says unplug, relax and unwind as you colour and explore each of the 50 unique mandala designs this book has to offer. There's a few, I can hear it thundering, I don't know if you can hear it. Wow, that's loud. There's some designs there. These are hand-drawn mandalas, so I'll show you. Let's have a little look inside. I haven't looked yet, so I thought I would share with you. So we open up. Now Amazon paper has got a very slight tooth, more than a lot of colouring books have, so I find the effect is slightly different when you colour, but for me that's fine. It's white, very white. Here is my piece of paper that I just showed you. That is a piece of copy paper. It's actually whiter. Don't know why that looks so yellowed, but it doesn't normally. So very white, which I know some people prefer. So here is our sort of copyright page, and this sort of bit about the book. She's put her email address and asking for reviews and things like that, which I will leave a review when I've done coloured a little bit. And here we have, my goodness, the rain is so heavy. Anyway, they've got their all the contact details there, and talks here about how to get started. Let's have a read. Sit down and get comfortable, preferably in a quiet place or wherever you feel most at ease. Pick out the design you want to work on. Close your eyes, take a deep breath and slowly exhale to find your center. Repeat 5 times or as many as you need to calm your nerves and release any tension. It's just a really good idea. Remind yourself that regardless of whatever is going on in your life, it's okay to take a break. Right now you're making time for you. Begin colouring and let your body and mind relax. So that's lovely. Tips: a warm blanket, not in this weather. I know it's raining and thundering, it's quite warm. Gentle music or soothing drink can help you relax even further. I usually have a coffee. I sometimes have a little video. At the moment I've been watching tennis while I've been colouring, which for me is quite relaxing. Ooh, big flash. Go at your own pace. You don't have to finish colouring each design in one sitting. If you start to feel overwhelmed, take a break and come back when you're ready. If you're worried about bleed through, we suggest using coloured pencils, or that you simply add a sheet of paper behind the page you're colouring to absorb any ink from using markers. Now I have had a very quick look, and these are double-sided. This design here is on the back of every page. I sort of did a quick flip, which means that you're less likely to see bleed through from alcohol markers. I think that's why they do it. But it does mean if you want a go at colouring on black, this is actually grey on black. This isn't white as far as I can tell. It's not always easy to see, but I don't think it is. But you could have a bit of a play with trying colouring on a black background. So here's a sort of test page, which can be quite useful. We're not going to test, I'm just going to play straight away. But let's have a little look through first. My goodness, it is raining quite some. So these are nice and central on the page. We have a border, so I rather like that. I don't know if there's a border on every one, but what it means is that you can do a background around or draw a frame around using this border, or you can just leave it as a frame itself. We've got a little copyright at the bottom, which is absolutely fair. So this one quite simple. We've got a bit of a floral centre, which I always like. And as I say here, this is the same every time, so I'm not going to comment on that one. And so here we have another fairly simple, geometric-ish but slightly floral design. I could come in a little closer, I think, because it looks to me like they're all going to be quite central. I'll come in a little bit just so you can see. We'll come back out if we find they're a little big. Another one. Now we've got, in traditional style, it's a lot of repetition. Now I find if I'm very tired or very stressed, doing something like this works really well for me. I can just put some blocks of colour down and I don't have to think about shading and things like that. Now this one doesn't look so relaxing. These spikes, it's quite angry. Maybe that's just me, but that's rather fun, I think. Now we have one here, it looks a little more floral. I do like a nice circle, I don't know why. Circle in the middle, I don't know, I like it. I think it's quite usual for a mandala to start with a circle, and we've got the nice sort of floral shapes, and these look a little bit leafy. And they're all quite different so far. Not completely different, but you know, we're not getting anything too similar. Now this one here is much more detailed. Now with this one being more detailed, what I probably would do with this section here, I would probably just fill that all in on with the same colour, just let the line show through, rather than trying to do it striped or anything too fiddly. But you could use a little fine liner pen or something like that to get in there, or a really sharp pencil. But I always think it's quite nice to have a mixture. This one has a little more detail. I like this flower particularly, but not masses. So it means that, you know, you've got a bit of a mix here. This one looks like you could make it quite three-dimensional actually, like this is high up and these are lower down. I think that would be an interesting one to do, but you need quite a fine pencil. Probably use a Staedtler or a Polycolor or something for those, very fine. And this one looks opposite, like this is down low and these are higher up. So if you do this dark or even black, you could look like you're peering down through into there, which is interesting. This one looks a bit more floral, which is nice. You could maybe leaves around here, maybe petals here. Wow. I don't know if you can hear that rain. It's quite mad. And this looks like it's sort of, I don't know. It's really different to the others again, which as I say, I do like. Oh my goodness. We were forecast very bad weather. We've had weather warnings. I'm very pleased that I went to the farmer's market while it was sunny before this weather came in. Again, here we have more details on this one, but maybe not so much on the edge. And this is a little more geometric. I mean, there are petal shapes, but you know, it's a little different, which I think is, you know, oh, hang on, let me come out for this one. Depends what you're in the mood for. So this one, we've got the whole page filled. So we go right out to the edge. It's a little bit different. If you want you know, something a little bit more, perhaps they're all like this now. I like this little shape in the middle. And this not being round, it's just different. As I say, I do like the round ones, but you know. Oh, this is very geometric. Looks like one of my oh, what's it called, spirograph things. But although they say they're hand drawn, I think they must be hand drawn on a screen because they're very straight, which I like in a mandala. To be honest, if you're doing a scene or something and it looks more wobbly, that's okay, but in a mandala I like it to look really, you know, not wobbly, and that's how it is. This one again looks really spirography, which I think is good. I never used to colour my spirograph. You probably don't even know, you might not know what I'm on about, hopefully you do. Never used to colour them in. Used to use different colour pens for the lines, but I never coloured them in. Didn't used to do much colouring as a child, believe it or not. A little bit. I always had felt tip pens and they'd always run out or dry out or just be annoying. I don't know. This one's really geometric. I think it looks almost somehow industrial. I don't know why. I'm feeling that for that one. I'm also feeling that I would want to maybe do that black and grey. Don't know why. Because it doesn't look like a pretty floral. So, you know, if that's okay. Oh, I think the rain's easing off for a minute. These are cute. They look like, I don't know. I was thinking like little grasses or something. So we're back to a more floral look on this one. And this one. But I like having circles on designs. I like trying to make them look spherical, which is something I enjoy. Of course you don't have to, you can just colour them very flat, but yeah. So it looks like these ones all cover the whole page, got a nice circle in there. See, what I like doing with that is I like pretending it's like a flower centre and then doing a sort of dark, a sort of gold and then a lighter yellow and a light yellow to make it look like it's spherical, sort of rounded, and yeah, I just like doing that. Oh, this one is more jagged, but that's okay. You could still do it, try and make it look rounded or not. I think it probably doesn't need to look like that on this one. This looks more like I've cut through a fruit and we've got seeds. I don't know why it just jumped out at me like that, but actually this looks more floral, doesn't it? So, you've got lots of circles to play with on this one. A bit more geometric. But we've still got lots of nice leaf-like shapes. So you can do them like leaves. Oh, this one looked like, when I first turned I thought bubbles. But these are more leaf-like. But lots of circles there. A little bit more detail here. I don't think it's too tricky. It's making my eyes go a bit funny. But I think once I got into it, it wouldn't. It's that bit that's a bit odd. But I think once you put some colour in, it'll be fine. And we've got these stripes. I was thinking mini rainbows would be quite good. Maybe pastels, although there's quite a lot of black on there. But you could always colour over the black in a white pen after if it's a bit too bold. These look more like leaves to me. I think that's that one. Yeah, that's that one. No, it's not quite. That bit's the same. Oh, it is. Yeah, it just hasn't got that edge. These are sort of thinner. And these look like petals that are turned over, so that's a bit different. So do these. You can just do them however you wish. This one we've got some square shapes in, which makes it a bit different. Sometimes I have a bit of fun with those. Again, see these look like leaves and a sort of big flower. There's a lot of going on there, but I think I would really do a very limited colour on that one and then it wouldn't look so busy. These look like, I like doing shapes like that. This one, we've gone back to a little simpler with not going back, you know, with not so much around the edge. But I like these little circles, just finish it off nicely. It looks quite like a big flower to me. Now this is interesting, loopy bits, but here looks quite like it could be florals. Yeah, another one that the way it overlaps looks like a spiral graph. And we have, yeah, sort of more floral design again. And there. I'm not sure about these shapes, they're quite different. I can't work out if they're floral or geometric or what, is just a bit different. This one looks to me, these outside leaves look like those succulents, but this bit is a bit more detailed in there. This again looks a bit more plant-like, but we've got these circles, which are fun. Oops. So this with thin ovals like petals, but a few of them have got these sort of stripes on. A bit different. Yeah. Oh, these sort of shapes again that I like. And this one, yeah, looks, I don't think this looks leaf or petal like, it's a bit more geometric around the edge, I think. This is a lot of lines, so if you were really tired, you could just fill in these lines and leave the white, leave a lot of white if you wanted. Just, you know, keep it really, really simple. And again, you could do that with this one if you wanted. This one's got a sort of pretty floral leaves. These look like peacock feathers, but of course you can do them however you wish. But these look like little waves, I think. Oh, that's the last one. So let's do a bit of colouring. I like to do a little bit. Let's go right to the front. There was a quite a simple one somewhere that was felt I would do. Maybe I'll just do the middle of that one. I think that's is that the first one? Yeah, we'll just start that one. I'm just going to grab some paper to put behind the page. Now I grabbed my Polycolor pencils because I find they work well on Amazon paper. Now this is UK, this book's been printed in the UK, so it's UK Amazon paper. So it will be different if you buy the American version of the book of US Amazon, but we can still have a go. Right, I'm going to do the centre. I'm going to start with this number 32, which is Natural Sienna. I've actually got a list somewhere. Yeah, I think that's my list. Yeah, 32. Sometimes it's called brown. The Corynol Polycolors have changed their names, or they have different names in different sets that I have, which is, I don't know which is the more modern name. I really ought to have a look on their website if they've got one. So I'm doing a fairly intense layer of brown just around there, and then I'm just going to do a light layer just inside of it, like that. And then I'm going to use an ochre. This is called light ochre. But it's number 29, but weirdly sometimes it's called dark ochre. Oh, what's going on with that? So how can it be light and dark? I do not know. Now, as I say, these pencils work quite well on the Amazon paper. I find sometimes you can see a lot of the paper through because it's a little bit more toothy, as I said, but I find the UK Amazon paper is far less toothy than the US paper, but they don't always use the same paper. So this is the gold ochre, which is a bit lighter. It's number 28. I'm still going over everything just to darken up. Now what I find with the Polycolors is they don't always sharpen to a really fine point. So I'm just going to use a yellow. I think I'm going to use the banana yellow. This is the number 41. I'm just going to use it all over. Just take that colour into the middle. There we go. I'm leaving a tiny bit of white in the middle. I think it's, oh, the sun has come out. Hang on a minute, I'm going to have to pull the blind down. Oh. So it's going to go quite black. My camera will adjust. There we go. And the lamp also will adjust. Right, now we've got this little tiny bit around the centre, which might be tricky for you to see actually. I'm going to use this reddish brown for that. This is number 30. I can barely see it. It's gone dark. Someone shut the blind. I'm just going to use that around the edge. These are really small details. But I think having a little bit of a darker bit around just helps that centre to stand out. There we go. Now let's do these petals. I was thinking of doing a sort of red and reddy orange. So I'm going to start with the Pyrrole Red, which is the number 170. Sorry. It's also, I think it's got a second name. It's also called Carmine, strangely. There we go. I'm going to do a little bit of the bottom, well, not a little bit, a bit the bottom here. I don't know why it's called Carmine, because it's an orangey red. And I've always thought that carmines were pink, but I could be wrong. It's only because the Polychromos carmines are pink. But it's fascinating how different pencils can be, you know, with the same name. So that's why I think people like to swatch, because if you grab a sky blue, you will find that if you're using a Prismacolor or a Polychromo or whatever, they'll be so different. So it's always worth just not always going by the name. Obviously also the barrel colour can help us, but the paint on the barrel isn't always completely identical to the colour that comes out of the lead. So some of them are really different. Particularly those with dipped ends, I find. I don't know, but it's just worth checking first, unless you're in the mood for just going for it and seeing what happens. Sometimes I am. I was never very good at swatching. I used to just go for it, but as you get more sets of pencils, you can't always remember what's what. I think I'll leave those. Yeah, I'm going to leave those back ones. Now I'm going to grab a more orangey colour. This is the reddish orange. It's number 5, which is also called orange. Depending in my other set. I'm just going to go over all of this and take it to the tip, and hopefully, yeah, you can see that this looks darker than the tip. Hopefully you can see I'm zoomed quite far out. This orange reminds me of an orange ice lolly. I used to like the, I didn't really like them. I used to, when the ice cream van came, we would be able to go and choose something, and I would sometimes choose an orange ice lolly. I don't really like ice lollies that much. I used to have it, and then I think my sister used to have them more. I would sometimes go for the split. There used to be a strawberry split, which was had like the ice lolly on the outside, like strawberry flavour, but inside there was ice cream. Or occasionally had a banana one, but I think it was banana ice cream on a stick. I seem to remember. Oh, a long time ago. Don't eat ice cream. I don't really like it anymore. If it's really, really hot, I'd still prefer to have an iced coffee, to be honest, than an ice cream, but I don't eat the sugary stuff anyway. There we go. you can see how it can be quite quick on this paper. There's not much tooth. It's given us a nice bright colour. I think I'm going to make these leaves underneath lighter. Normally I would do those darker, but I'm going to do them lighter just so they look a bit different. I'm just doing something a bit different for a change. Because normally I would think, oh, they're underneath, they're being shadowed by the leaves in front, so they would be darker. It makes sense. But why does this need to make sense? So, there we go. So actually this paper, compared with the the American Amazon paper, is really nice, I have to say. So I've got one book with American Amazon paper and it was quite nasty, but I've had some more recently and it's been a lot better, so I don't know, it changes. This is tangerine orange. It's actually, for me, that would be like a chrome yellow. It's 557, and I'm just going to do this sort of, go over these, do the tips. I'm going to sharpen it actually. I'll just go around and do all the tips. Now I always worry, I have got a few books with the black on the back, and I always worry that it might go through onto the picture underneath. So let's have a look. Yeah, look, it's gone onto this paper. Obviously this is a rough piece of paper, scrap paper, so it's fine. So you must put a piece of paper underneath or else you'll get that marking. It might rub away, erase, but I don't know for sure. I'm going to do these bits in a yellow. I'm going to use this one. This is our chrome yellow, or yellow. It's number 3. Okay, sharpen it, I think. So this will be a bit warmer than the yellows, the golds. Less brown, I suppose, brighter rather than warmer. I think that is quite warm. I'm just going to block this in because I feel like it's a sort of background bit. I mean, you could do it as a leaf, I suppose, but I'm not. I'm thinking I might do this bit as well in this colour as it's sort of background. And then we'll do this line. I'll have a think as I'm going around what to do with that. Because I'm thinking I might do these as leaves in green, or these, or I could just keep with these warm colours, because there's no right or wrong. It's the mood you're in. I can't believe the sun's come back out after that big storm. I have to get in touch with my sister. She's travelling today. See if she's arrived okay safely. She was going to travel early to avoid the stormy weather, and then the forecast changed, so she said she would leave a little later, but hopefully she's got there okay. It's tricky because I don't know which direction the weather's going, but I think she has been carefully tracking it to try and keep safe. Okay, I'm just fiddling there. Now I'm thinking this line around here, what should we do? I think I'm going to use this colour. This is the natural sienna that I used for the very inside of that circle. I think we'll use it here, but just dark. Oh. And apparently we'll break it. No, I'm going to have to sharpen it. Oh, ooh, I'm trying to put the lead somewhere out of my way. And been breaking a lot of pencils yesterday. The blade in my sharpener was blunt and it kept breaking everything. But not this sharpener, the one in the other room. But husband changed it for me. which was good of him. I am known to not be very trustworthy with blades. So all the way around. I'm not going to do much more of this on camera. I don't think. I might do. I'm just looking at, oh, I've got time. I was just looking at the time thinking it was lunchtime, but it's not. So could do a bit more, why not? Let's do some more. I'm thinking these the stripe line and this stripe line, I think I'm going to do the same, and I think I'll do them quite dark. We've got this dark brown, which is number 33. Just checking that. Yeah, dark brown. I'm just checking on my list to make sure I haven't got another name. So I'm going to use it quite hard. You could do this as a stripe, but I'm thinking that stripy line just helps to make it look darker, and I want it to sort of look like a dividing line, if you know what I mean, a division between sections, and so it just helps it look dark. So I think that's nice. I just want this sort of nice warm dark brown. So I hope everyone's good. And maybe you're colouring along. I shouldn't think any of you have this book, but colouring something. Let's. I think it's out of the line. Never mind. I think it's always fun to do a little bit while you're listening or watching a video. I do. I've been watching the tennis, which is finished, would have finished when this video goes out, but I've been watching a lot of it and colouring at the same time, in between points when they sit down, in between shots, and also just generally when the match gets a bit long, which sometimes it does, particularly the men's matches, or if someone's obviously easily winning or something like that, you know. So just doing little bits while I'm enjoying watching, but I'll feel a bit I've got a few podcasts to listen to as well. I regularly listen to one called It's 5 O'Clock Somewhere, which is great fun. If you want a comedy podcast, it's brilliant. It's a bit naughty, so if you don't like naughty things, then no. But the two ladies always have a bit of a drink, hence it's 5 o'clock somewhere, when they're doing it, and they chat about all sorts of things affecting women of their age, sort of early 40s. I'm a bit older, but I think they're a bit late 40s, aren't they? More like my age, so that's quite fun. So chatting about all sorts of things, and it is quite English, a lot of their talk, but because they were talking this week's, which I haven't listened to yet, is about reminiscing about childhood toys and things that they used to have, but I suspect they might be ones that would have been popular across the world, because as a child it never occurred to me about toys, but I suspect toys were, you know, probably like they are now, all over the place. So that was quite interesting. I'm looking forward to it. I've seen a few bits and adverts for it, so that's a fun one that I listen to. It makes me laugh, and both of the ladies have written books. One of them, I've got all her books. The other one, I haven't got her book actually. I've been meaning to get it, but I haven't got it. I need to put it on my wish list. So to remind me, next time. Well, the husband was trying to tempt me to buy things today. It's naughty. Pan pastels are on sale, he says, at Jackson's. Go and buy some. I know I want some, but really, I've got a lot of things. Just going to sharpen my pencil. So anyway, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's a really fun little podcast. And I also listen to sometimes some health ones, so Doctor's Kitchen. What's Dr. Chatterjee's? It's called something, I can't remember what his is called. And Deliciously Ella, or Ella Mills' podcast. I sometimes listen to theirs, but they're more very serious, talking about health issues and things, which I find quite interesting, keeping up with latest thoughts on different foods and exercise and health matters. I think because I've got a family history of type 2 diabetes, I'm always trying to just see what I can do to make sure I don't get it. Now, not everyone in the family has it. It's mainly on my mother's side. Her father had it, and then all her brothers and sisters bar one had it, and then my cousins are, quite a few of them are now getting it. So it obviously in my cousins line they don't always get it, because I don't know if I'm assuming it's genetic, but I guess, I don't know, they haven't all got it, but and of course they might still get it as they get older. So just trying to work out what I need to do. I realise that however much you work on your lifestyle, sometimes you just can't avoid getting these things, but at least you can delay them a little bit. And I had my blood sugar test done quite recently as part of a health check, and it's gone up a little bit, but apparently it does. I'm going to grab a red. This is the Pyrrole red that we used before, number 170, and I'm going to do this line, and this line. I want some bold brights, this line first actually, some bold brights lines, and then we'll fill in the gaps, as it were. So yeah, I know you can't always, however good, in quotes, I mean good is however much you change your diet and lifestyle to try to avoid getting things, sometimes you're just going to get them anyway. But with the diabetes, as far as I can tell, you can delay it, or it can be less serious. So hoping that I can maybe do that. That's even if I am prone to it, but what I understand is that what you have to do to try and avoid it is actually quite a healthy way to be anyway. So even if I'm not prone to getting it, if I can have that lifestyle, then it'll be better. So I've worked hard on my diet. I don't eat foods with free sugar with added sugars anymore, apart from ketchup, tomato ketchup. It's the only thing I eat with added sugar. I really should make my own. But everything else, I don't eat biscuits, cakes, puddings, things like that. I do eat fruit, but obviously that's not added sugar, that's, and I always have whole grain rather than white carbs. So I'm trying with that. I have tried to have lots of fruit and veg. Mainly more veg than fruit to avoid the sweetness. No fruit juice. I don't drink any soft drinks at all. I drink a bit of water. I'm not a big fan of water. So I tend to have tea and coffee. Or iced coffee, which I just make like a normal coffee but just drop some ice in it. So, well, instead of hot water I just put cold water in it. I dissolve my coffee granules with a bit of boiling water, and then I top it up with cold and put some ice in and put some milk in, just like a normal coffee. And so I do that, and I try to I now realise, now I've sort of sorted out what I'm eating and I feel like I'm doing okay. I am working on my exercise, so I'm trying to walk every day. I was doing yoga. I haven't been doing my yoga for a while. It's tricky to explain, but when I did a yoga session. I was doing yoga daily. I'm going to use some orange now. This is the reddish orange, the number 5, or it can just be called orange. And I'm going to do these, start off these shapes here with a bit of orange. I'm going to make them similar to these, I think. So yeah, I did a session, quite a lot of yoga, and then my eyes went a bit odd in that I got lots of floaters in my eyes. And I went and got it checked out because people were telling me it could be a detached retina, and it was fine. And then I went back and did yoga again. I got it, and it's worse now, the floaters. And so I'm not sure. It seems weird that weird of me to say it could be connected, but I was sort of thinking about the fact that you have to have your head quite low down, you know, in some of the positions your head is by your feet, you know, and I'm wondering whether that moved things in the eye, but I don't really know. So I feel a bit worried about doing it. So what I'm going to do is I'm trying to do the walking every day. Didn't walk yesterday, but we had guests for lunch, and it was husband's birthday actually, and his dad came, which was really nice. And so I was sort of busy doing things, and then by the time when they left, this is this is tangerine orange, it's 557. It was absolutely pouring with rain, and the weather didn't clear up till 9 o'clock, and by then I was really tired and I actually went to bed. So but today I've been for a walk already, so you know, I'm sort of not trying to pressure myself too much. So I'm thinking if I can walk 6 days a week, that's good. And then I'm going to introduce exercise, but rather than doing yoga, I thought I might do Pilates, because I don't think you quite have the same amount of head low positions. The exercises that I found didn't anyway. So I've got an app. It's Deliciously Ella's app, and there's lots of exercise routines on there. There's yoga, Pilates, there's some more cardio routines as well, which I'm not really, I don't find them very, I find it hard work, so I don't feel like I would do those very much, so I don't tend to do those. But you get recipes as well. You get exercise recipes and meditation, which can be quite nice. Now, this line here, I think I'm going for this colour. This is the reddish brown, the number 30 that we used just around there. I'm going to use it here for these bits and block it in. I'm liking these warm colours today. I'm in the mood for warmth, so I'm not going to use any other. I'm just going to use these colours that I've got out throughout, because I think keeping a limited palette helps keep things sometimes looking a bit neater, and saves me having to keep thinking about what colours I'm going to choose all the time, which isn't always easy. Okay, I'm going to use some gold in here, you know, like we did in here. The ochres, I think, might be nice. I've got, getting some plans in my head. Not going to share. You have to wait. So yeah, I'm trying to I'm also doing something which Michael Mosley, those of you in the UK may have heard of. He does TV shows and things. He sometimes has little snippets of useful things to try, and one of the things he suggests is to stand on one leg when you're brushing your teeth. It sounds a bit strange. You can use the light ochre first, which is the 29, but apparently it really helps your balance. So as you get older, if you fall over, you can do yourself damage. So if you have improved your balance and your core strength just by doing something like that, it can be really good. And actually, because you're doing it anyway, it's easy to, you know, once you remember and get into the habit, it's really easy to do, and it doesn't feel like hard work. This is Gold Ochre, number 28, because I've been listening to, as I was saying, Dr. Chatterjee podcast, and he talks about how when you make lifestyle changes, you need to do things that are easy for you. And for me, that was so easy, because I'm standing there at sink brushing my teeth anyway. I might as well just balance on one leg. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if you said, right, you've got to find 2 minutes in your day to balance on one leg, I would never do it. But because I'm standing there anyway, I just do it. Now I'm trying to think of what to put in here. I'm thinking a sort of the natural sienna, I think might work. I think that's what we used there. Anyway, this is number 32, and yeah, I'm going to use it here. I think it will just add a sort of nice transition between these, a bit lighter, still nice and warm, and I'm just trying to keep it as even as I can, really. Now I think this book would be really nice to use with the Sarah Renee Clark Colour Cube cards. I really like doing mandalas with her cards, because sometimes with the mandala I can't think of what colour to do, or it's a good way to play around with colour combinations that you wouldn't normally use, because it's not something real. So if I'm colouring a picture of a person, I'm not probably not going to grab a colour cube card, because I might end up having to do them with a blue face or something, which is quite difficult for me to do things like that. I'm thinking I might do this colour here as well. I know we're moving outside, but I'm just sort of thinking of how I'm going to finish it up, really. So yeah, so I think the colour cube cards are quite good for things like this, and you might discover a really lovely colour combination that you would like to use in other books and pictures as well. But as I say, if you've got a picture of, say, a person in or something, you might not want to do them with the card. But you, of course, you can see, I think sometimes having a box of colour cube cards or the app can be more of a distraction than a help, because I know that there are some people who will spend a really long time choosing a picture, choosing a book, then choosing a picture from the book, then choosing which card to use from the book, and it can take a long time. And you're actually taking from your colouring time. I'm going back to my ochres. This is the light ochre or the dark ochre, number 29. I'm going to do these in this. I think I was thinking about shading them, but I think I'm not going to. I'm going to block it in because it's not a very big space. So yes, and I think then if you're choosing all these things, and then you've got to choose which pencils you're going to use, I think it takes up so much time, and you might end up finding that you've already spent an hour just choosing. So I want to get on with colouring. I don't want to be making all these decisions. So I do a few things. Firstly, I try to spread my colouring across lots of different books. It's, for me, it expands my colouring a little bit, opens my mind, because if I just stuck with one book all the time or one illustrator, I would always sort of be doing things that are in the same style. So I think it helps me to have a variety, and people have kindly sent me different books, so I've got different books to choose from, so that's nice. And so what I do is I have a list, and as you may or may not know, I do a completed pages video every month, and I like to have a variety of different books for you to see. If all my pictures were from the same book, I don't think it would be so interesting as having a variety. I might be wrong, but so I actually have a list now of my main books and the authors, you know, that sort of thing. And once I've done a picture from that book, I tick it off, and then I do. And so if I'm at a loss, what book am I going to do? I have a look at my list and pick one that I haven't done yet in that particular month. and that helps me quickly choose something. I think about the mood I'm in too. Am I in the mood for doing something very detailed or something not? Am I in the mood for doing people? Am I in the mood for landscape scenery or houses, you know, industrial or florals or random patterns? You know, I think about that carefully. What am I in the mood for doing? How long do I want to spend on the picture? Do I want something that I can finish really quickly and that sort of sense of achievement of getting something done, or am I happier with something that I'm gonna work on for a longer period of time? You know, so I ask myself those. It sounds like a lot of questions, but it isn't really. You can think about it quite quickly, and that helps me to focus on what book I'm going to choose. Now, what picture do I choose from the book? Well, that can also take a long time, but if you find yourself pondering and unable to choose, here are a few hints for that. Either open the book, let the book fall open and do that page, or the next page that isn't done from, sorry, this is the Golden Ochre, number 28, and do that picture. There's a possibility. Or ask someone else to choose one for you. Do a buddy colour with a friend and get them to pick the picture and the book, then you don't have to do it. Or just do the first one or the last one that hasn't yet been coloured in the book. Just pick something and go. Pencils. This can be tricky. Look at the type of picture firstly. You know, if you've got skin tone in your picture, then you want a set of pencils that has skin tones in it, or pick a skin tone set like the what are they called? Can't think. Yeah, pick a skin tone set and then pick another set that as well, you know, or pick a set with skin tones in. So Prismacolors have good skin tone pencils in. Polychromos have some, but they're a little bit pink for my liking sometimes. It depends obviously on if you're doing if your skin tone is going to be dark or light. Obviously Black Widows have their skin tones, and the other set that my mind wants to say colour, yeah, but it's wrong. It's the yellow packets of, yeah, anyway, Colours of the World. You might know what, if you've got it, you'll know what I mean. You might want those. So that's another determining factor. If I use a colour cube card, I will look and decide which of my sets of colours has ones closest to the ones on the card. Now, if you don't know your pencils very well, that might not be easy. Fortunately, I seem to be able to remember quite well what colours are in what sets. Not exactly, but I can look at a palette and think that's going to be X set, you know. I know it that well, which is rather useful. Now for these last bits, I'm thinking I want some oranges because we haven't got any here. So I'm going to start with the tangerine orange. I think we'll go from light to dark. So this is number 557, and I'm going to do these bits, but I'm going to try to make them a little more intense at the bottom. So colour more layers. It's a bit trickier at the bottom because we've got this shape, and then just fade it a little bit towards the tip of our petal shape. I'm not sure. So put a few less layers up there. Just build the colour up a little bit at the bottom. I think this would be easier all over this side. Depends on the angle of my hand. What's easier. But yeah, so choosing the colours. Again, if you struggle, write all your colour brands on a piece of papers, little separate papers, draw one out of a hat, you know, or you can use those electronic wheel things that you can download on apps and put the name on and sort of spin the wheel, but I would find it easier to just scribble them down on a bit of paper. But I also think about the paper I'm using. As I said, I find Amazon paper works well with these pencils, which I'm really pleased with how it's coming out on this paper. I find brands like Derwent tend to show white paper through quite a lot anyway. So if you've got a toothy paper, it can show through a lot, and sometimes I don't want that to happen. So you know, I don't tend to use them on these the Amazon papers. But you know, it's also down to a bit of experimentation. As I said, the paper isn't always the same, so that can have an influence on it as well. Now I'm trying to decide whether to do a background in there or just do that circle. What would you do? I think I'm going to see how it looks. Sometimes I get some people asking me, you know, do you think this needs to be this colour or that colour and whatever in the picture, you know. And I'll say, well, what I would do is do the rest, do everything you know what colour you want it to be, and then come back to that bit. Going for the reddish orange now, the number 5 for this bit. I'm going to shade it so that it's a bit darker here and a bit less to the tip, I think, like that. So yeah, I think sometimes you need to sort of sit back and have a look and I think at the end, leave a bit you're unsure of and come back to it. That could be an idea. It's or ask someone like me or anyone around, you know. But the thing is, oh, wrong one, this one. You will find that if you ask people, they all have different ideas. It's like I said to husband, what should I do this? And he said this, and I did it in the way I thought he meant, and he said that isn't what I meant at all. So it was quite, I'm going to sneeze. Oh, that's better. Right, where were we here? Now, I've completely lost my train of thought, as you do. But no, I was just talking about picking colours and pictures and books and things. But yeah, buddy colours can be quite a good way of doing pictures. I know some people find it difficult to finish a picture. They start it and then it can either get too daunting or they sort of lose enthusiasm for it, or maybe don't like what they've done, so they just don't feel they want to continue with it, sort of thing. So doing a buddy colour can be good because you're both colouring the same picture. You can sort of encourage each other to get it done without pressuring and rushing, but you just know that it'd be nice to share your completed pictures with each other, sort of thing. So that can just give you a little bit of motivation to sort of finish it, really. For me, I don't have that trouble finishing a picture. I always want to, but I know for some people it is a problem. We're all different. For me, actually, finishing a picture can be a problem because if I get bored with it or I don't like it, I just want to finish it quickly, and then I just rush it and it's never going to look nice, if you know what I mean. But I've got a lot better over the years at not doing that. Now where I did this here, I'm just going to erase that a little bit. It's probably not going to erase off very well. It's going to fade back. There we go. Oh, I'm just thinking that when I finish this, I might just go and order some pan pastels. Oh, now I'm thinking I wanted to do this red, but we've got red here. So I'm not sure what to do now. I know, I use this colour. This is the reddish brown. I think that's that colour. There, so I think it'll work nicely. I'm going to do the same as here, so sort of fade it up. Now, yeah, it's going to work. I think I want a bit of red in there. That's what I'm going to do. I just didn't want it so close to that There's nothing wrong with doing colours next to each other like that, but because I haven't done it on any of the rest, I thought it might look a little bit odd. But it is only a thin bit, it probably would have been fine. But as I say, if we do those red, I think it will just finish it off. Yeah, I was thinking, your husband was saying, just order them. Now, I need to watch a few videos on pan pastels because it's the application tools that I'm not sure about. By the time this video goes out, I would have probably ordered some anyway, so, but you still might be able to help me if you've got them. Because I apply my soft pastels with a cotton cloth, and I don't understand why I couldn't do that with the pan pastels. What is the advantage in their tools that is any different to using the ones that I use already? I can see that some of them are shaped and how that would be very useful for fitting around things, which I struggle with a little bit, so I might consider. But when I read the description, it said you can rub the pastel off the sponge onto a piece of kitchen paper, I guess like you would paint off a paintbrush. And then it said you can then reuse it a few times. It indicated they don't last very long. Is that because if you're rubbing them on a toothy paper it wears it out? Or is there some other reason why you just can't use them that many times? Because that seems a little bit of a waste if you can't use them very much. I assume they stain with the colour of the pastel, but my cloth does, and I wash it. But these don't seem to say they can be washed either, which seems also a little bit wasty, that's the word. So I was thinking I might just get some reusable, washable, like Q-tips that you can buy for applying makeup. I'm not sure where you can get those from, but I'm sure I can find some, rather than using these specialist, very expensive tools that don't seem like they're going to last very long. So I don't know. So that's why I'm a bit nervous about buying them, and none of the art shops near me sell them. Actually, one of them I could possibly. I'm wondering if I might just email the sellers and ask them, but then because they're salesmen, they want you to buy them, so they might just say, yeah, it's going to be fine. Do you know what I mean? I shouldn't be so untrustworthy, but you just don't know. I'm just sharpening up the red for the last little circles. This is the Pyrrole Red, or the Carmine 170, is where we started, right down here. I'm going to try and make the circles a little bit lighter in the middle, but they're really small. Now what I quite like about the border, I was just thinking on one of these I might get some washi tape and stick it around the edge and then use that as a border, and then use the colours that are in the washi tape for the picture. It just made me think of that. I don't know why, because just tidying that up. I haven't gone right to the edge. Messy girl. There we go. I feel that this needs a background. I'm going to use the yellow. Just looking, I think not the banana yellow is a little bit pale. We only used it right in the middle there. I think I'm going to use the chrome yellow. I want it to be brighter. So I'm just going to use it behind here and then we'll be done. I'm not going to colour in the border or anything. I think it just sits nicely as it is. And we'll be done. So I've waffled on about all sorts of things, but what I do need to say is, yes, I was gifted this book. It's available on Amazon. The links will be in the description of the video for you to purchase it if you wish to. And for the pencils as well. It will be my affiliate link, which means that I get commission, but you don't pay any extra whether you use my affiliate link or any other link, you know. and using my affiliate links is a great way for me to get a little bit of compensation for all the time I use for the videos, which I really appreciate. People who, a lot of you do use my affiliate links. Basically whatever you're buying from Amazon, you can click through my affiliate link. You don't have to put the item that, oh, I just smudged that red into there, never mind, that you've clicked on in your basket. You don't have to do that, but once you've entered Amazon through my affiliate link, as long as you don't leave, then when you buy, I get a little bit of commission. So that's a little way that helps my channel, as well as if you know, watch the adverts on YouTube or buy things or send donations through Ko-fi, things like that. It's all a little way. Me getting just a little bit of pocket money, which I can spend on some pan pastels. Well, actually, husband is going to treat me. Is that this colour? I think it is. It looks a bit messy. I'm just going to tidy that up a bit, and then we'll be done. Now, my husband's going to buy me pan pastels, I think. Some of them. I've decided that I might try the pearlescent, fine pearlescent shimmer one, and maybe gold and silver one, because those are things that I don't have with my current pastels. I might just use them to just experiment with, really. But anyway, there is the completed picture. Yeah, I think it's very 1960s, orange and brown. Maybe 70s, I don't know, but I think the colours work well together anyway. They always have. So yes, so you've seen the book, you've seen me colour, you've heard me waffle on, so I think that's that. If you want any more videos from the book, let me know. I think mandalas are fairly straightforward, really, but also if you don't buy the book but you want to support the artist, here are her contact details. So you've got this, I don't know if you can scan this through here, but there's her threads thing, inner inking, TikTok and Facebook, and the Instagram is that, but I'm sure it's the same name. So if you find Inner Inking and follow her on all her channels, that just really helps, you know, even if you don't buy the book. So that's that. But I just love these tips. I think that it's brilliant. So and how to take your breath and do that before you colour. I think that's just such a lovely addition to a book. But yes, lovely book. Very happy. Thank you to her for sending to me, because I should imagine she's watching, and I'm looking forward to doing more in it. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope you have a super day and happy colouring.